Your boy Looney back with another one, family. I'm hitting you back to back to back this Hey man, long story short, last video I left off with basically me and all my friends got ran up out that town, Cranford. And we all pretty much shout out to Elizabeth. But thing is, man, I can't really let Cranford go that fast on this story because first and foremost, you got to understand my attachments to Cranford. First of all, I believe my father's father had a house out there. I know my mother's side of the family was from out there. My grandfather and his brother owned a bar called the Cranford Town Tavern. And basically, like, when my folks split, you know, I got bounced around. I was with my mother, I was with my father, I was with my grandfather, you know what I'm saying? I was getting bounced around all over the place trying to find where I fit in, you know what I'm talking about? And I knew when my father took me for my mother, that wasn't where I was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt like he moved on with his life and got remarried and, you know, this, that, and the third. And I feel like that really didn't have nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the firstborn, you know, child from him and my mother. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little harder for me to let go of that than it was for him and my brother, I guess. Long story short, though, you know, like I said, I had a lot of attachments to Cranford before I actually moved back there during my teenage years. You know, like I said, the reason I don't want to let it go so quick is because not only was that half a bag that I bust down the first time that I tried heroin, but I had a lot of firsts in Cranford, you know what I'm saying? And this is RealTalkT.V., you know what I'm saying? So I got to keep it 100 with y'all, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I said, man, Cranford was a lot of firsts, man. First girlfriend, you know what I mean? First time having sex, first time trying drugs, you know what I'm saying? It was actually my first time, you know, meeting people that I felt I was, you know, compatible with, you know what I'm saying? Such as my brothers from next door, you know what I'm saying? You know, and we did a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was 3 kids, it was just lost, single parent families, you know what I mean? All types of crazy shit going on in our lives. And, you know, we started going out of town, back to Irvington and Newark and shit, where they was from. And we started hanging out over there, you know? And I kind of hold a little bit of regret for some of those decisions that I made, man, because we was hanging out with some, you know, straight gangsters. Like, we was hanging out with some street kids, like real thoroughbred street kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, these wasn't no, you know, fake the funk, you know, trying to be something they not. And we got a lot of that growing up, you know what I'm saying? Me, Gary, Casey, Jesse, everybody from that block that really hung out, you know what I'm saying? We all got a lot of shit for being who we were, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was always, you know, oh, y'all wiggers, y'all wannabes, y'all this, y'all that, you know what I'm saying? But truth be told, we was all searching for something, you know what I'm saying? We was all searching for a place, and, you know, most of us came together under, you know, the same line because we was all going through the same shit, dealing with the same struggles. You know what I'm talking about? So I didn't want to leave Cranford so fast, man, because like I said, you know, I had a lot of firsts in Cranford. You know what I'm saying? I met my best friends for life in Cranford. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I fucked a lot of them relationships up, man, with the, you know, doing the drugs and shit. And I say I hold a lot of regret about that because, you know, some of the dudes we was hanging with, you know, they was into a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? We was all into a lot of shit. But we started introducing them to the girls around the way and this, that, and the third, you know. And, you know, for a long time, I held a lot of regret, man, because a lot of them people fell victim to the dope and the heroin and the shit that we introduced them all to. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's hard when you see that. Because like I said, once we elevated to Elizabeth, you know, a lot of people followed, man. And I'm not going to lie. Like, they was out there doing things that, you know, thank God today they not doing. You know what I'm saying? And I feel responsible for a lot of that shit because, we was the ones that brought them people around. We was the one that brought the drugs around. We was the one that introduced them to that whole side of the game. You know what I'm saying? And, them being introduced to our friends and this, that, and the third, it kind of took on a life of its own, and they started doing their own thing. So, I hold a lot of regret for that, because if we never brought our bullshit to that town, a lot of people wouldn't have went through some of the things they went through, And like I said, man, thank God today, as far as I know, most of them pulled through and they got a good life now, you know what I'm saying? But all that kind of fell apart, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of the drugs and everything. We had a tight clique in Cranford. We had a, everything was good, like, for the most part. But what people didn't understand was all that partying and drinking and hanging out and shit. When they went home at night, you know what I'm saying? That shit didn't stop for me. You know what I mean? Like, my house, there was junkies in there all the time. Sometimes I couldn't even get in the bathroom to shower or wash up. I'd have to go to my bro's house, because people would be locked in there for days, smoking crack, getting high, doing all this shit. And then I had to go out every day and present myself to all my friends and shit, you know what I'm saying? And in the back of my mind, I knew, like, shit was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew my life wasn't like everybody else's life. You know what I'm saying? And, for a long time, I was searching, trying to find who I am, man, because I always had that spark. I always had that fire inside of me that wanted to get busy, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to be in the mix. I wanted to be on the other side of the fence, you know what I'm saying? Because I could relate to those kind of people. So, a lot of people got to understand, man, we weren't trying to be something we not, you know what I'm saying? It was just, it was in us to be who we are, you know what I'm saying? And it took a lot of soul searching and a long time to figure that out. So like I said, man, Cranford wasn't only my first for doing dope. It was the first for a lot of other things, And, I just wanted to add that to the story because, like I said, man, it's Real Talk TV. Looney Tunes, your boy, man. I'm going to give it to you raw and uncut. So, I'm going to go to Elizabeth now because, like, I remember things as I go. So, don't be mad if I backtrack and, end up back in Cranford with this story or whatever the case may be. But when I got to Elizabeth, right, and we lost the apartment, we was in the streets, right? Like I said, man, back in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, Elizabeth was a different world, man. And the people that I was introduced to through my mother, people that she known for years, old heads and shit, they took me under their wing like I was their son, you know what I'm saying? And they schooled me to a lot of shit. And I'm not even going front, man. I never was much for the fight game. I mean, I fight you, but I never was much for the fight game. And when I got to Elizabeth and was like officially homeless and in the streets, my man Easy, he introduced me to the stick-up game. You know what I'm saying? He introduced me to guns and shit like that. And honestly, I fell in love, man. I fell in love with it. I had power, you know what I'm saying? It was the wrong kind of power I know now, but I had power, you know what I mean? And from that point forward, of course, yeah, I was still getting high and all that, but I stayed with a gun. You know what I'm saying? And now that I think about that, like, I did some dumbass shit. You know what I'm saying? I did some shit that I could be rotting in prison for the rest of my life. And thank God, things played out the way they played out, and I never got jammed up. But, long story short, man, it's crazy how I went from Cranford to Elizabeth, and my life just got flipped upside down. Everything that I thought I wanted to be, and this, that, and the third, it came to fruition, and I loved it. I loved the love I got. I loved the people I was around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. you got to be real careful with the decisions you make, you know, because once I found the power in the drugs and the guns, I couldn't be stopped, man. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't be stopped. I was ripping, running through the projects in Newark, Elizabeth, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Getting high, robbing people, stealing stashes, the whole 9 yards. And don't get it fucked up. You know what I mean? I got caught. I got shot at a couple times. I got shot a couple times. Like, you know, shit was real. But the spark and the fire inside me, man, it felt like I had to feed it. You know what I'm saying? It felt like I had to go harder and go harder and go harder just to prove myself to a lot of people that don't even fucking count, to be honest with you. And you know, from there life just took off for me. And that's why I say don't get mad if I backtrack back to Cranford, because Cranford's basically the foundation for where all this shit started. But once I hit Elizabeth and I really got, you know what I'm saying, up and running, man, you couldn't tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? And being know that my mother was doing what she was doing, like I couldn't sit back and deal with that shit. So I started robbing her johns and her tricks. You know what I'm saying? And I had girlfriends and shit and all this that was doing the same thing, man. And you know, that shit fucks me up now because, you know, you think, alright, they gonna do it anyway because, you know, they trying to get high, they sick, whatever, they need to do what they need to do. I'm not really promoting this shit. I'm not pushing them out there to do this shit. But at the same time, I'm rocking right there by their side. You know what I'm saying? So I had a real fucked up way of looking at relationships and you know, people that I had attachments to, because my whole life I seen people getting treated like shit. So in return, that's what I did. I treated people like shit. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really care about what they was going through or what they was feeling or what they was thinking. And to keep it 100 with you, man, some of these girls would ride or die, man. They was tougher than some niggas I know. Like, they really went in out there. You know what I'm saying? And much respect to any of the girls that was out there that did this shit and made it through and they living a better life now. Because, you know, honestly, man, if I had anything to do with any of that, I apologize. Real talk, man. Like, I apologize. Because, man, that heroin, man, is a motherfucker. And it'll take anybody down with him. Like, it has no name. It don't care. You know what I'm talking about? So, like, now I'm in Elizabeth. I'm going full blast. You know what I'm saying? And it was just day after day, the same shit. You know what I'm saying? We getting up, we hitting the block, we trying to find a jukes or a scam or, you know, a John to rob or something to get off eat. Then we gotta get money for food and more dope and a hotel room for the next night. This shit was just never ending, man. It was never fucking ending. And it went on for years like that. I could tell you so many stories. I just gotta think and put it all into perspective because so much shit happened over that period of time. It's hard for me to even, you know what I'm saying, give you story by story by story because it just comes like in a wave and I don't know what, you know what I mean, how to place it or put it in the story mode for y'all to understand. But long story short, man, I wanted to put this third video out this week just to let y'all know, man, that there ain't no future in fronting, man, and there ain't no future in the game. There ain't no future in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a long time, like I said, man, people always thought we was front, we was styling. And honestly, me, Gary, and Casey, the only motherfuckers that to this day was really living this life. Rest in peace to my brother Casey, man. God took him way too early. You know, and I'm just glad I got to spend some time with him before he left. You know what I'm saying? As well as his mother who passed away, you know, before him, but during that time as well. This was all right before I actually caught my bed. I had hooked back up with, you know, Gary and Casey and his mom, and she had a stroke, and she wasn't doing too good, but she still knew who everybody was. She still showed us all love. I mean, his mother was, Christine was one of the best ladies I ever met, you know, like for real, man. She took me in when I couldn't go home, you know, like she was there through so much that I can honestly say that's like my second mother. You know what I'm saying? And I don't take nothing from my mom because my mom's my heart. You know what I'm saying? My everything. You know, rest in peace, mommy. You know, and that's another thing too, man. You know, the older I get and the more I open my eyes to certain shit, I realize how many people I lost to this disease, man, and to this struggle. And there just ain't no future in it, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I told y'all, for that first time when I got locked up, you know what I'm saying, and we caught that attempt or that aggravated assault or whatever it was that got dropped, I mean, those were all behind decisions and choices. The people I was around, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we took it on the chin. We held it up, you know what I'm saying? We was about to go to court, do whatever we had to do. And like I said, they dropped the charges. You know, so thank God, man, because honestly, you know, when you 14, 15 years old and you doing shit, you're not really thinking about the consequences. You know what I'm saying? We hurt this kid to the point where he was in ICU for weeks. And it could have very well went the other way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, God works in mysterious ways, man. He really does. He works in mysterious ways. And like I said, I just wanted to drop this third video, you know, to add on to what I was saying, you know, earlier this week. But, you know, like I said, man, Cranford had a lot of firsts for me, man. And, you know, the attachment to there was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because after my grandfather passed, which was my heart, I can remember the day. I shot out to New York, to the Lower East Side. I was chilling with my boys out there. This is where I was first introduced to the association, you know what I mean, and the gang life and all that. But I think I was in contact with my people and I was calling them and trying to get a ride home or something. Something happened. I was trying to get back and my boy Chris came and picked me up from, you know, Newark Penn Station. I took the train back to Jersey, you know what I'm saying? So he scoops me up and we flying back home, you know what I'm saying? I got a 40 in my lap, the whole nine, you know what I mean? Coke in my pocket, and he's flying back to the house. I really didn't know why, because he always drove like that. But when we pulled up on my block, man, it was crazy, man. I seen the ambulance out in front of my house. My grandfather was being taken out in a stretcher. All my friends was on Gary's porch. My girl at the time was on Gary's porch. And I jumped out of the car before it even stopped. I remember this. And I ran up to the ambulance. My Uncle Jimmy was in the back of the ambulance. And he starts cursing and yelling at me. Where was I? Da 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 da. This, that, and the third. You smell like liquor. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I just black out, man. Like I went into robot mode. You know what I'm saying? I followed them to the hospital. I think my boy Chris took me there too. He took a bunch of us over to the hospital, and I got there. And I walk in the back. My grandfather's on the bed. And he's cold as ice. He's cold as ice. And I kind of gave up on life after that. I didn't really care about too much. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather was my everything. He taught me how to be a man. He taught me a lot. You know? And losing him was one of the hardest things I ever dealt with to this day. Because I feel losing him, it just made my life go down the wrong path even more. Even faster. Because my mother lost it when he died, because that was her heart. You know what I'm saying? That was her everything. He took care of her. So she, you know, fell right down the fucking black hole and started using and drinking and as much as she could, which is, you know, a big part of why we lost the apartment over there and everything else. Because after my grandfather died, his brother died. They owned the building. You know what I'm saying? So we basically got kicked out of an apartment that I lived at since I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? Give or take, you know, I was back and forth, this, that, and the third. But, you know, they took the only home I had from me. And That's what fucked me up when I got to prison. Because I ran the streets for so long. I never had a home. I never had a foundation. So when I got to prison, man, it was like a family, bro. It was the one place that I stayed longer than anywhere else I stayed in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, we got broke up down there, sent to Aztec, split up, sent to different places, this, that, and the third. I mean, that happens all the time. But at the end of the day, I was surrounded by people that cared about me. You know what I'm saying? I was surrounded by good brothers that I'll never forget, man. I'll never forget. And all of this shit stems from drugs and guns in the streets. And, you know what I'm saying? You got to be real cautious about the choices you make, man. You got to be real cautious about the people you around. You got to make sure they care about you the same way you care about them, man. Because a lot of people just stunt you out. And don't get it fucked up, man. Like I said, once I got that gun in my hand and my boy Easy started showing me how to, do this, do that. I was a beast, but I wasn't I wasn't untouchable. You know what I'm saying? Niggas touched me too. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, man, Cranford got a lot more first than just busting down a bag of heroin. So I'm probably gonna dip in and out of Cranford while I also tell you, about Elizabeth and how that took off from here all the way up here. You know what I'm saying? And how shit got real. And I'm gonna also get into, how I shot up to New York State and PA and was getting money and all this shit before I finally got bagged and went away. So, like I said, man, your boy Looney hitting you back to back 3 videos this week. I hope y'all show love, support, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. Your boy Looney Tunes, RealTalkT.V.0076, man. You know the shit, you know the vibes, you know what it is. Holla at your boy, man. Leave some comments. Y'all want to do interviews, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to my bro Jess too, man, who reached out to me earlier this week. Much love, man. Real talk, much love. For the rest of y'all, I'm probably gonna end the videos for this week, but I'm gonna definitely get back into it next week, man. So like I said, man, I hope y'all like, subscribe, show love. It's your boy Looney, man. Real Talk TV, you heard?